Once you use this phone, I don't think you can use another one. Let's go. I've effectively been using a Z Fold 8 for about a week. That's not rubbishing you around or clickbaiting you. I've got two of them here, so I've been using one or the other over the course of the last week. I must say, I'm kind of blown away. I was very much doubting whether I would like this or not. This form factor and the proposal of this form factor had me questioning everything that Samsung was going to be doing, because obviously the rumors about the iPhone Ultra being this exact size and this exact concept, you start to wonder whether Samsung are right to try and get in ahead or right to try and join that race. Why wouldn't they just stay true to what they believed in with the Fold 7 and keep that as their main foldable? Well, I understand now because I've been using it. From the very first time you pick up a Z Fold 8, you're immediately drawn in by it. I just can't describe it other than that. You want to pick this phone up and you want to find reasons to use it. I said it the other day in a video I collaborated on with Ramal, and he came to my house and we sat down and we spoke about the form factor and how it is quite captivating. And what I likened it to back then was the MacBook Neo.
Excuse to try and use it. You know what it reminds me of? The MacBook Neo. I loved, for some reason, that form factor of the MacBook Neo. I just loved picking it up and just finding a reason to type on it, open it, carry it around, because it was just this compact little laptop that actually could do a lot.
This fun little device that you just want to pick up and use and find excuses to use, this is the same. I'll try and explain as to what it is I think has me captivated about it, but it's ultimately the biggest reason is just the size of it. Because of the fact it is feeling like something different. You get so used to a normal smartphone. A slab phone that is up and down and wide, and that's it. It's one screen and it's one shape. Whether it be the S26 I just held up, whether it be the S26 Ultra, or whether it's the Z Fold 7, which is in a big case here, all of it feels like a conventional phone. The Fold 7, I'll give a bit of a pass to because it does unfold, but because that's been the foldable form factor for so long, again, you just get used to it. With this, you have something different. It feels different in your hands because you're not holding a rectangle anymore. You're effectively holding a little square, almost a little cube with the thickness on the sides here. I guess what goes into that though as well is the weight. Because of the fact it is basically a tablet when it's unfolded, it's only 201 grams, which just doesn't feel like anything when you're holding it. Because I don't want this to turn into just a gush fest, let's talk about some of the shortcomings that this form factor has that, even though I look past it because I love it, still exist. The first is this wider screen format and the shorter format doesn't lend itself to the way apps have been functioning over the last few years. Because of the traditional form factor of phones that they've gone to, apps don't necessarily feel natural on this cover screen. Instagram feels like content's cut off. Social media in general has that feel where you're maybe missing out on things. And that's just down to the fact that it's short. Not because it's too wide, but because it's shorter. Because when you think about it, a 5.5-inch screen doesn't exist anymore. The smallest screens you have now are like 6.3 inches, which I've got here on the S26. And everything is designed to be stretched in that format to match that. Whereas with the Fold 8, because of the fact it is that little bit shorter, it just doesn't have that same size about it when it comes to the apps. I'm actually going to not correct myself, but some more observations over the days since I've recorded this. Some apps are good. Like if I go onto Facebook and I go on Facebook Reels, those fill the entire display and really take advantage of that 16:10 aspect ratio. But then for some reason, Instagram, which is part of the same family, doesn't have that same scaling on that cover screen. It's really bizarre, really odd. Then there's Twitter where people just upload videos in all aspect ratios and it's a mess. But the fact is that it can actually be really good on that cover screen. It's just going to be down to how you balance the apps and how the developers take advantage of the space that you now get. Because like I said, it's pretty much been one way for the last 7-8 years. So it's just going to take some time for them to adjust to this new ratio if this catches on. The other shortcoming I'll mention here, and it's only a shortcoming because I've been so used to having it on the other folds, is no flex mode. I have to call it out. I have to say it in the hope that in the Fold 8 to Fold 9, let's just go with that will have flex mode. Because at the moment, not having flex mode, I think is a huge missed opportunity. The fact that it's got a 16:10 aspect ratio on the cover screen that is then matched with half of the display on the inside would be a great way to be able to consume media in that top half of the display when it's in flex mode. Even for capturing content, I think that would be a huge win to have that nice size preview at the top there when you're using the cameras in that way. So I think it's just a miss. So for me, fix it for the next one. But again, they're things that I can look past because of how much I'm enjoying it so far. I think the big part of what I'm enjoying is the unfolding experience. Samsung have made the hinge of this so nice and smooth to open that it feels very, very easy and natural to get into that inner display, and you don't feel like you're going to break it at any point. In previous gens of folds, you've always had that slight worry. I mean, I never have personally, but if I hand it to someone, they always feel like unfolding it will break the phone. I don't think there's any such problem here. It feels like it's meant to be opened, and it feels natural to do so as you're doing it. Once you're in there, the magic of this device truly starts to take hold. That inner display in its wider format is just so friggin' cool to use. I do love watching YouTube videos on it. I think it does add that extra bit of convenience, and I know the size of it is the same as what the Fold 7 is when you rotate it. I know you're not getting any extra screen, but it just tricks your brain for a minute to think that you are getting more. Because of the fact it kind of matches the landscape orientation whilst it's open, you don't feel like you're missing out on things. You feel a little bit more immersed in it because of the reduction of the black bars and so forth. I also like the multitasking on the inside. 2 apps side by side feel sparse and spacious, and 3 apps give you that extra bit of convenience if you want to have 3 next to each other in the elongated form. Again, just all about that convenience factor. But I think for me, the magic of the device isn't when it's stretched out, it's when you rotate it to portrait. This is where it truly starts to look like a tablet as opposed to just a big phone. That elongated form is the same size and aspect ratio of an iPad mini. And a lot of people love the size of an iPad mini. They love consuming things on it. They love reading. They love writing. They love doing so many things. The Fold 8 has that exact magic about it when it's in that form. Whether it be reading news articles, whether it be writing notes out, you've got a really nice form factor there in that portrait orientation. The camera is a little bit odd, not because there's only 2 of them. I think they're both good performing cameras. The ultra wide is the S26 Ultra's ultra wide, and the main camera is the S26's main camera. So they'll do a capable job. It's not that they don't have a telephoto either, because I don't think this phone is really about photography. It's more just about the convenience of shooting. No flex mode is a miss again, as I already pointed out. Where I think the cameras are a little bit odd outside of all of that is the orientation of them. Again, it tricks with your mind a little bit. When the phone's in this orientation, which is landscape, you're actually getting it in portrait because of the way the camera's orientated. When you flip it this way, the cameras actually then become landscape, even though the phone's in portrait. It's very trippy and doesn't actually match up with what your brain would think should happen. And that's just all because these cameras here orientated this way and not this way. They don't match the orientation of the phone when they're in the open state. They do match it when it's closed, and I guess a lot of people will probably take photos and videos in that way, but it is a little bit trippy when it's open. So it's just something you got to be aware of if you plan to invest in it. It's a day later Dan here again, and coming with some more realizations as I've used it another 24 hours. The cameras actually provide a really pleasant experience if you know what you're doing with them. And it's more by the form factor as opposed to just the hardware that's on here. For example, when you are taking photos of your children, for example, like I've got 2 kids, it's actually really beneficial for the preview, but also the review, because you can get that capture view mode next to each other and take advantage of the aspect ratio of the inside. And it kind of fills the display really, really nicely. But also, when you have kids, they like to see themselves when they're taking photos, my daughter especially. So you can turn on the cover screen preview, and then they can see themselves as you're taking their photos to hold their attention. And the great thing is the preview on the cover screen is much larger thanks to the screen size the way it is and the aspect ratio the way it is. So they're seeing themselves in a really, really nice big way, which again, captures their attention. What I also really like too is viewing back photos, especially if you rotate it into portrait, it fills the entire display. The display is 4:3, the photos natural aspect ratio is 4:3. So it looks sensational on that inner display on the Z Fold 8. So the camera experience isn't just about taking the photo with these things here, it's about the whole ecosystem of what this form factor can do. As I said though, the main purpose of this phone isn't for photography. I don't think you're going to buy this if you're someone who needs telephoto zoom, or if you need to artistically take shots of landscapes, this isn't your jam. You'll be wanting to pick up the S26 Ultra for that. Or, if you're an iPhone user, a 17 Pro Max or the impending 18 Pro Max. You're getting this phone for the form factor and the convenience. Honestly, I've loved it and I will continue to love it. I've switched to it now as my main phone. I've taken my SIM card out of my S26 Ultra and put it into here, paired my watch to it. This is it for now. This is what I'm going to be using. There's one more downside I'll just add in quickly here at the end. No S Pen. I think that inner display is tailor-made for an S Pen writing experience, especially in that portrait orientation. Can imagine how much fun that would be, but alas, we don't have it. Anyways, that's been my week so far with the Z Fold 8. I genuinely believe that this is a great form factor, but I also like the fact that Samsung do both. I like the fact that we've got a more traditional style foldable, I guess you could call it, that unfolds into this style of tablet. But I also like that they can just go ahead and make this as well. Like, they can make both. That's what we should appreciate about Samsung, is they can do whatever they want, as well as making a flip phone, because, that's just who they are. Anyways, comparison coming later this week to the original Fold. Make sure you hit subscribe to check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You!